What's going on, folks? I'm Automatic. Today I'm going to talk about Kolin and some of the tech strategies, all the nuances or whatever it may be that I came across while streaming in yesterday's release of her. So one of the first things I like to point out when I look for any character, what I look for in every character that I play is, can I throw them off of a light attack? And what I mean is, if they block my light attack, if they're mashing a 3-frame, will my throw be able to catch them out of that before they can hit me? Can I throw them before they hit me after I hit a button? And with Kolin, you can. As you can see, Laura's doing her 3-frame normal after I hit standing jab. So then this must mean that I'm either +2 or 3. And I think Tool Assistant has released the data, the frame data for Kolin. And looking at standing jab, I am actually +2 according to that. So that's good. +2 is perfect. Throws are 5 frames in Street Fighter V, so that leaves a 3-frame window. Which means that our attacks happen at the same time, but because of the priority system, jabs will lose to throws if they happen at the same time. So that's exactly what happens here. And the other thing you want to that I would test for here is if I'm still in range, to begin with. So if I hit a jab button, can I throw them just where I'm at standing? And absolutely you can. So this is perfect. She does have a good setup, and this is one of the most important things in actually making your opponent behave in a way that makes them detrimental to them. So now what can happen is they might want to break a throw in anticipation. Throws are 5 frames, you're at +3, so now you can do other things to counter hit them in their attempt to break your throw. So that, to me, is the most important thing to look for. Let's see, what do we have next? This also, you have to be a little bit careful, because the standing jab also chains into a standing jab. So if you hit throw while you're chaining while you hit one standing jab, if you do it too early, you'll actually get another standing jab instead of throw, which isn't a bad thing. There's no consequence to this other than sacrificing the mix-up you might have wanted and not being prepared for, something that you didn't intend to happen. So that, to me, is one of the most important things. It might seem like a really simple thing, you're really just hitting one buttons, but that is the essence of actually changing the way your opponent is approaching you on defense. And that's how you really make things happen, in my opinion. This is the other thing I look for, just because I got really curious. You can do the same thing with Furion. Now what I'm doing here, and I don't think this is good, but I want to explain why this is something I look for and why it's not good. So, what I'm doing here is I'm actually option selecting. If you saw my inputs earlier, I'm actually using throw with strong. So what happens is I'll get the target combo if I throw. But if they V-reversal my jab, then I will have still the correct timing to actually throw them out of their V-reversal. So with Urian, this is pretty good. And it's something that I do quite often, because Urian has the same idea with the standing jab, where you can throw them if they hit a 3-frame reversal. Or, excuse me, yeah, 3-frame normal. Not anything invincible, obviously. But the difference is that Kolin's target combo, I can actually get the right number for you here with Tool Assist's website, is -6 on block, whereas Urian's is -4. -4 is much better than -6, so this is much more punishable on block, so I would not recommend doing that. But it is there. Okay, next we have, this is a sort of bread and butter idea that I think that'll be very, very, very strong in terms of hit confirming off this crouching strong. But the other reason why, well actually just to demonstrate what you can do here, is you want to hit this crouching strong and then you hit standing forward to hit confirm. You hit confirm the fierce off of the standing forward. So you're doing this anyways. And when you're seeing that this is contact, you can go into fierce into her V skill. And there's actually something interesting about that knockdown itself. And we'll get into that later. But the other thing here is that this series, this crouching strong to standing forward, will beat 3-frame normals, just as that standing jab into throw will. And to demonstrate, standing forward counter hits if they attempt to do a 3-frame. Now, it changes. This combo will change now, because now you're not hit confirming based off of the crouching strong hitting, you're hit confirming based on the standing forward counter hitting. And in this case, standing short actually combos off of a standing forward counter hit. So with that, you can go into EX, parabolum, is that what it's called? in my stream, I think we called it EX Spirit Jazz Dagger Hands, something like that, right? But this is a very important concept, because now what this does to the psychology of your opponent is now, after this crouching strong, they know that they should not hit a button. They should not try to challenge this. Well, maybe they should, but as I mentioned earlier, since this does not actually leave me in range for a throw, because I have something else to threaten them, now I can actually have more freedom of movement, because they should not actually get a 3-frame here. They might want to do something else. So time will really tell what is actually going to happen here. But for now, I think this is the focus, the focal point. And we'll see. More will come on that. Let's see. We got something kind of cute. Well, actually, we'll go over this too. Two hard kick will not. You cannot buffer your V trigger off of this or any kind of special move. But on hit, you can. Only on hit. So that will work. Special moves will also work. But only on hit. So you'll see this coming. You might see this come into play with her backstep off of the EX Jazz Dagger Hands, whatever it's called, Parabolum. Because when you backstep off of this, you cancel the second forward step into backstep, and you can combo into the crouching roundhouse. So on that first hit of the crouching roundhouse, there you can actually cancel it, and there may be some interesting things to do there. And it's been pointed out that you can go into the other backstep into the punch this here. In the EX version, but I'm not a fan of using that much meter because that does 160 damage by itself. But if you're doing it later in a combo, say I do jab EX, and then I go into roundhouse, and then I do that, it's gonna do the damage gonna be more mitigated, and I'm not getting as much value out of the meter. So unless it's gonna kill, I wouldn't go for it. But what we got next is V skill. Her V skill does cause a falling juggle state if you hit them while they're jumping. So for example, here, and notice that how much range, it really does have good range. So what you can do with this is actually super, and that does the combo. So that's pretty good. So if we can find a reason to encourage our opponents to neutral jump, and say that they're jumping normal, this loses to it. Actually, you might parry them. That'll be interesting. If they get hit by this, you can juggle into super. Let's see, we're going to look at strong DP next. So, with what we had in mind earlier, this idea here, you can use, I believe it's called Hailstorm. Now notice how it whiffs on normal recovery. This is the strong version, the medium punch version of Hailstorm. It whiffs on normal recovery, but when they back recover, a contact stone. And what you want to do is test this if the opponent can actually hit a 3-frame, and if they can, really interrupt them. So Laura does a 3-frame, and she actually does. She gets counter hit. But what is really interesting about this, and this is gonna take a lot of time to really dive into, and it's gonna be. I think this character in this aspect is largely like set play. It's gonna be ridiculous. But you see here, on the normal recovery, now let's say she does a 3-frame on the normal recovery with the icicle or the hailstorm will whiff on the back recovery. I still can go up to her, and I still have frame advantage. I have lots of frame advantage. So this is to not get too much into it. Now let's say she back recovers and I do the standing fierce. That still counter hits her. So I'm covering both options. There's going to be tons and tons of ways you can do this. Because this is a strong version. And that you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm getting curious now. This is something I do like on my stream, but so if I do this, okay, let's see if I can combo a crouching jab. Because crouching jab is Kolin's 3-frame. You can. But because it counter it. But that's the idea. You have a branch of options that like cover both knockdowns, and in fact, you can even safe jump if they don't recover. And of course, we've seen that if they don't recover, you can ODG them. Oh, you can hit them off the ground with your V trigger, and if you have enough advantage. But what else do we have here? And that would be the next thing I'm going to go over is the back throw. Is you can, if they don't recover, and that's also a good point too, that if they actually do recover, it does hit the meaty. So if you back throw, and they go into no recovery, this will actually hit them off the ground. you can super from this. And in fact, in the corner, and I think in some situations, you can use your V skill, and this will actually do more damage than just hitting it with the V trigger itself. Let's see, air throw. Her air throw is pretty good. You can get it off of the quarter circle forward EX. But the Oki is a little bit lacking. You do have a crush counter in back roundhouse. So, and again, with throws, they can only recover once. So this is similar to Laura's command grab, where when she dashes up, she does not have frame advantage. In fact, she can be punished. So we're going to set her to jump. Now if I hit back roundhouse, it will crush counter her. Now that's great. So that might discourage my opponent to actually waking up with anything. So that means maybe I can't actually dash up. But as you can see here, if I try to dash up, I can be punished. So judging by that, I'm at least -3, maybe -4, -5. But the point is, I should not be able to do that. I can be punished for doing that, and that's the choice there. That's why the Oki isn't very strong. Oh, the overhead is +1 on hit. But what this is, this goes back to the very beginning of what I was talking about. Your +1, which isn't good enough for a throw. If my opponent, if they were to be mashing their 3-frame jab in this position here, and I tried to throw them here, their jab would win. It would come out one frame faster than my throw. Well, I should say it would happen 1 frame faster than my throw, or 1 frame sooner. But Colin's crouching jab is, let me verify that her crouching jab is actually 3 frames. Standing is 4. Crouching jab is 3. So her crouching jab is 3 frames. So if I'm at +1 and my opponent's at 3 frame and then I hit my 3 frame, I have one advantage. So my same speed is going to happen 1 frame sooner because I have, frame advantage. So what this means is that I have a choice. I have an option to prevent them from mashing 3 frame, so that I can throw them. So now that my opponent is discouraged from hitting a button, I can throw them after this over because I'm +1. Now, let's say for example my opponent doesn't have access to a 3 frame. It's a character like Urien, Bong, Zangief. They don't have 3 frame normals. So that means I can still throw them because their fastest normal is only 4 frames. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. I know I wrote this down somewhere else in my notes. Yeah, okay, that'll come later, but I'm here now. So what I want to point out is this backstep here also has momentum. So it causes your normal to travel further than it normally would. And with her overhead, for some reason, it covers full screen. Like, why does this happen? So upon looking at her crouching middle kick, it doesn't look that crazy, right? It just looks okay, maybe. It's not bad. The frame data is actually pretty good. It's like +1, I've heard. Let me go ahead and look that up just so I don't say something that's wrong. Yeah, it's +1 on block. That's crazy. On counter hit, you can combo into probably with a standing jab or something. It's better than it looks is what I'm getting at. But with this in mind, you have something that is going to be a problem on CFN. I'll tell you that much right now. Especially because you can V-trigger off of this. But as I was saying, with the overhead, you're +1, so you have advantage with the jab. So with that, you can target, you can chain into 2 standing jabs, 2 crouching jabs, into EX Parabolum. You have a mix-up. And then from here, if you want to go for damage, you can go for the air grab, or you can go for the crouching roundhouse into whatever we might establish later on. So, you can, if you crush counter them in the air, you can link into, if you crush counter them with standing roundhouse, you can link into the strong hailstorm. So what I want to do is set my opponent to jump and then counter hit, and you can actually link into it if you're close enough. And then that will cover, well, it looks like it covers the normal recovery, and maybe, it might not cover the back recovery, judging by how that hit. But we'll see. Live test. It kind of does. That's good enough. And now we have, a very simple crouching strong. If it counter hits, you can link into super. Oh, this is interesting. If they're blocking and you hit them with your target combo, this is actually the V-skill portion of this here. So what happens is you will build a portion of V trigger while you're actually hitting them with the end of this portion with this combo here, and you can also go into V trigger. So what this means is if you're very close to actually completing your V trigger meter, you can use this to gain the rest of it and activate. Now you might want to do this because say you're in the corner, you want to generate space, you still have frame advantage after this her V trigger. After about if you do 3 dashes, you don't have advantage, but with 2 dashes and her being at her having a 17 frame dash, that means when it has more than 34 frames advantage. I can tell you that much. So it has more than 34 and less than what 17 plus 34 is 51. It's going to be somewhere between 34 and 51. Closer to 51. I would say 45-ish. Just to give you a rough example. But you have tons of advantage after you do this. So more to come on that. We'll look into that. This combo itself sets up a, excuse me, not that one. This combo actually, against characters who don't have a 3-frame normal, I'm going to use Laura's standing, well actually I think this is crouching jab. I'll use this as an example. If I dash up and hit crouching strong, it will counter hit both options. That happens, these happen on the exact same frame in this situation. It's a perfect meaty. In terms of the normals collide. But if I hit them as a back recover, it hits later in the active frames. So again, against 4-frame normals, this is I like to call it a double meaty. And you can do some unique things with this. With crouching strong here, you can link standing fierce if it counter hits, and on the normal recovery, you can link crouching fierce. Okay, I have to get out the habit. I like to double tap. I like to flood inputs, I guess you could say, in this game because of the input buffering. So if you do that with Kolin, this is the same thing as like lightning edge or something. So I have to be very careful with how I buffer things. So that's what I was trying to demonstrate. Let's see. Oh, this is actually something I learned in training mode. It's very simple. For standing fierce, links into standing short. And that will combo into EX Parabolum. And we got over the EX backstep going, this is full overhead, full screen overhead. Let's see. Oh, right. Now, this will be the last thing I go over. If your opponent V reversals. Now, this is a very important concept that's often overlooked in Street Fighter V. There are normals that you can punish with V reversal. And now I've yet to discover why exactly you would V reversal against Kolin. I haven't really figured that out yet. But there are some normals, like obvious ones are like for crouching roundhouse. You can punish that on block, but just for example's sake, notice that I can't block the V reversal. And this is something that's often overlooked. So it does so much for you if you V reversal the right things. But crouching strong is not one of those normals. You can actually block after they V reversal. Standing forward, as you can see, I can't block. But the idea here is that I can react to them V reversaling with her counter. And it feels really good. This is like there we go. It feels really good to land that. Now, the next thing you want to do here is the exact same thing we've been doing with the other knockdowns. Is you want to test it against their 3-frame if they can actually hit you here. Now, this counter is actually a hard knockdown, so they can't back recover, they can't normal recover. It's a set number. They're always going to get the same way with this situation. So the frame kill that I found here is you jump, you hit a button, and this will increase your landing recovery. But that actually gives you the right frame kill to meaty grab them, and since you can also meaty grab them, you can crouching strong. Well, actually, I don't know if that's the correct way of saying it. But these are both meaty, crouching strong and throw. There we go, and then I whip a normal in the air, and then I can throw them. There we go. And the same thing with crouching strong. Let's see if I can. There we go. Now again, you don't want to mash this. If you jump in the air and you're mashing crouching strong, you'll get Parabellum, whatever it's called. That's it for today. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you learned something. If you guys got any ideas yourself, let me know in the comments below. And I'll be streaming again today and as often as I possibly can. And that'll be it. Y'all take care. Peace.